I've managed to grab the thing and it's Lynsey Hall!
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Lynsey, and my research area is psychiatric genetics. So I essentially sort of spend my days much like a suspicious housewife, rummaging through people's genes in search of answers. So I'm looking to find the genes that predispose people to depression, and I'm doing this analysis in Scotland, which I'm sure you will agree is a prime population to be looking for such things. So there's only, you'd be surprised though, our sample's actually quite short on depressed people, and I think you could probably put this down to the fact that most people with severe depression don't wake up in the morning and think, I know what I'm going to do with my apathy today. I'm going to go and sign up for a population genetics study. Nothing's going to reinstate my long-lost lust for life like a cognitive battery of behavioural tests. So it was a bit short, but thankfully, due to lack of academic funding, we were able to redress this balance because we couldn't take the whole 24,000 people forward for DNA sequencing. So we preferentially took the sad people forward and got our depressed cohort in the end. So what do you do with people's DNA once you have it? Make babies is one answer. But the way that I'm doing it is more like playing Spot the Difference. And by which I mean, as there's between 500,000 and 13 million differences to spot, it's more akin to a sort of depressed Where's Wally. By which I mean it's more akin to having nothing but a 10-year compendium of depressed Where's Wally to keep your 8-year-old self entertained on the drive from Stonehaven to Cornwall, which takes about 3 days. Which is also about how long the analysis takes. Coincidence? I think not. So what we call depressed Where's Wally, when we're doing regular conversations, is a genome-wide association study, or GWAS. And that's where you try and find out whether a gene is to do with depression by sort of counting how many times it's in the depressed people and how many times you see it in the non-depressed people. And, you know, we think that depression is about 40% due to genes, so I was pretty stoked when I was told I was getting this for my project. Like, oh, you're getting this big fat sample, it'll be amazing, you'll get GWAS glory, you'll get Nature manuscripts galore. And I was sort of like, you know, salivating at the prospect of this imminent fame. So what were the results of this analysis that actually took 1.5 years to run and not 3 days? Well, let's have a look. What's this? Oh, what's that Nature? That's not mine! Nothing came out of it! Not one thing! Nature News Alert! We know no more about depression today than we did any other day before this. Yeah! Publish that negative finding, bitch. Sure, that's interest your wider readership. Not I'm bitter. But, so why is this happening? Why do I suck? Well, there's a few possible reasons. One is, it could be that depression is lots of very similar but different overlapping disorders, each which have their own genes causing it. And that is a genuine thing that's been put forward, so that just basically means we're fucked. And then the other possibility is my computer program doesn't like my data, which is a very real possibility. So to sort of expand on this slightly, normally you do family studies to see how things get passed on through families. Or you do population studies where you get your ill group and your well group and you look at the difference. Bit depressed, Where's Wally? Awesome. But the people making my study decided that it would be really cool to have family and population data smooshed together. Now, programs don't like this. There is a package in the program I use called R. Not the pirate copy. It's actually free, so the joke doesn't even work. But yeah, it accounts for family structure, and that's awesome. But the problem is, this is like the only program in the history of programs that doesn't like yes-no conditions, like depression. It can handle height, it can handle IQ, it can handle obesity better than most hospital beds, but it does not like depression. So yeah, it's kind of tricky, and apart from that, like I have to work on a Linux computer at work, and I'm the sort of person that before starting the PhD, like I would like print off my Excel graphs and then very carefully draw the error bars on because I couldn't get the computer to do it. So it's been a very steep learning curve. But yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to write scripts for Linux and R, but to quote a very well-renowned academic, Jonathan Creek, it's amazing the damage a badly placed comma can do. Series of Sands, season 3, good episode. But yeah, so I decided to write a song about the trials and tribulations of working with Linux in genetics to the tune of Eminem's Without Me. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Except it's called Please Don't Freeze. So if John's about, if I could get my homies on the bass, that'd be awesome. Putting the G in genetics over here. Oh yeah. Nice to know I've got D12 with me behind the curtain.
Word. There's no swearing in this, is there, Lynsey?
I don't think so.
Yeah, let's go.
It's not meant to be. Oh God. Created a text file because nobody wants to use Word no more. They want Linux and fancy coding. That's all very well, but a bit foreboding. An accidental dash adds an hour to file loading. Attention, insert values please. You've done this before, so it ought to be a breeze. But the computer's not keen on cooperating when you overload the system while it's operating. Disaster, it's a catastrophe, because you can see some damage of my graph, but no axes. I crash, no. Oh, dash, or something to that effect. Parentheses, won't leave me be, or with me QC on the MDD. I forgot that I'm an R and I tried to write in C, but my screen's so empty, please don't freeze. Hold on, something worked, a promising cursor has emerged, but a word count the file says 0 lines. Time for a solution, let's head online. This looks like it's virus free, but the IP address is from overseas. It only seems to take up for KB, but my screen's so empty, please don't freeze. This looks like it's virus free, but the IP address is from overseas. It only seems to take up for KB, but my screen's so empty, please don't freeze. Thank you very much. That was the computing work for the past 2 years. So I can kind of do computers now though, which is good. And it means that I have whole access to a new plethora of genetics sort of programming tools and stuff. And one thing I have noticed is they all have ridiculous names. And I'm wondering if it's because the people who write them, like me, spend a lot of time in isolation and then start laughing at their own jokes, not realizing that when they take it to other people, no one else will get it. So you kind of have 4 categories of computer program. There's the one with the sort of, you know, sort of neither here nor there name, like Plink. Like, Plink doesn't tell you anything about what it's going to be doing, but it does have a sort of nice onomatopoeic sound to it that's sort of reminiscent of the noise my computer makes when it crashes when I'm trying to use it. So that's always good. Then there's a kind of compound adjective program name. Now that might be the wrong bit of English I'm trying to access, but English is not science's strong point. So bear with me and shout verb or something if I've done it wrong. But and that's such things like that, like genable, where you're assuming that means it's enabling genetics. But given that was the program I was bitching about before I just got all super G right there, it's not really enabling shit. So then you just have the crazy sort of acronyms, which I'm not even going to go into because there are too many to mention. And last but not least, there's just the plain bizarre. So for something called linkage analysis, there is a program called Alohomora. So if anyone's as well read as I am, you'll know that that's a spell for opening doors in Harry Potter. And is never used anywhere else. So someone clearly thought that the way that illness co-segregates in families is akin to open that door. And I don't really get that. But it did lead me to thinking, like I say, you know, spend quite a bit of time in isolation. What other Harry Potter spells would be awesome genetics program names? And, you know, I went through quite a few, and like I say, most of them will only amuse me. But the one I did enjoy the most, though, was the idea of coming up with like a paternity screening test and calling it Expecto Patronum. And I thought that would be great. So, Gary, what does your patroness look like? Oh, well, he's sitting over there in that corner. No, Gary, your one's only 3.5 inches long. Ain't no way you could produce that. I swear I did. And, yeah, so I don't really know where to go with that other than saying genetics is magical. Thank you very much.
Lynsey Hall! Oh, and a round of applause for John as well.